Desert Treasure 2 just came out and there are a ton of players online, which of course means the markets are booming and there is a ton of profit to be made right now. The margins are looking insane and way above average, so let's hop over to the Grand Exchange with the 2.7 bill I have in my inventory and see how much money we can make in a couple of hours. As always guys, drop a like if you enjoyed this flipping session and let's get into it. Alright, we're at the Grand Exchange with all of our cash in our inventory, and of course we have the items pulled up over on the price tracker as well. So today, my goal is really to hit some large margins, but at the same time, lose as little money as possible on flips. We're going to be patient and try to flip some big items and just pull in a ton of profit. Here are the first few items we're going to flip. We're going for those big ticket items today to start off. Hopefully we can flip a few of these and just get off to a really good profit start. The thing I see the most though on update day when new players are flipping is they chase margins really intensely. And honestly, you don't need to do that at all. The flips will come to you as long as you have the patience. And also, you don't want to do that as well, because if the trade goes poorly and the item starts to crash, then you'll be in a very bad situation. During update days, there is a lot more volatility than usual, so item prices go up and down a lot faster than they normally would, which means you can make a lot of profit, but you can also lose a ton. By the way, on our last flipping session, there was a lot of questions in the comments about certain words and phrases I used, so in this video, I'm leaving a flipping dictionary in the description below, so what you can do is you can reference that during the video, and if I use any words like undercut, overcut, on margin, or any words you don't understand, just refer to the dictionary below, and that should have you covered. Margins all around are going to be great, so we're definitely not going to ignore these small items today either. A lot of stuff is going to be trading very quickly and for larger margins than normal, so definitely make sure to hit your high volume items on update days as well. Alright, the Twisted Bow has bought, guys, the first real item of the day. Let's list this back up and see how it goes. We're going to list for about maybe like a 1.8 mil margin here, I think. And we should be able to sell it off pretty easily. And fingers crossed for that. Again, there's a lot of volatility today, so a lot of trades going on, which makes me think we will be able to get this. There we go, the first flip has completed, the Twisted Bow has gone through. Very, very nice to see. That actually ended up making us a lot more profit than I thought. We made 2.5 mil on the Twisted Bow alone, which you can see here in the profit tracker, which is amazing. Currently averaging 161 mil an hour. Hopefully that keeps up, but obviously that is a gross overestimation of what we will be doing today. Anyway, we're going to go back in and flip another one of these guys. I'm thinking we do pretty much the same margin, just a little bit higher of a buy price by about 100k. And don't forget, of course, if you want to learn more about how to flip with any kind of cash, whether you're a beginner flipper or an experienced flipper, you can always join us in our Discord group. There is a link in the description below to join that. We talk about flipping in there all day, every day, and we'd love to have you join. All of the manta rays came through as well as the saturated hearts, so what I'm doing is just looking at the margins right now and selling everything back around their margin. But of course, for the manta rays there, you might have seen them listed above the margin. As you can see, the box is red, which means the price that we're currently selling it for is above what it's actively being traded for. Currently, it's listed as a sell price of 1,125. But if we sold for that amount, we actually would be losing money because after taxes, we wouldn't be profiting enough to make up the difference between our buy offer and the suggested sell offer. So what we have to do is we have to list it a little bit higher and just anticipate that the item is going to fluctuate up and sell off for the higher price, which as you can see, it already is, although we've only sold 109 of them. I can tell there's just not a lot of supply at this level right now, as so many trades are going on and the prices are so volatile. We can get away by squeezing the margin a little bit higher. We also got our Inquisitor Mace to come through. The Inquisitor Mace is an item that does trade a bit slower than the rest of these items here. Even though it's a little bit cheaper, it does take a lot longer to sell these things, and I just believe that's because the volume on them is a lot lower and it's not used as much, which makes it a little bit slower of a trade. But regardless, going to get a great margin on that as well as long as it sells. That'll net us about another 2 mil, which would be an amazing addition to the session so far. I'm also taking a look at all of the items here, and the Torva plate body is staying at the #1 item, which means this thing is bouncing up and down, but is also super useful. Strong uptrend on this right now. Really want to try and trade one of these if I get the chance to. Our second twisted bow just hopped into our inventory as well, so let's turn this around for hopefully the same amount of profit. It looks like the margin fell on it a little bit, but we're going to try to stretch the margin again and see if we can make about the same amount of profit. We are not having too much success with the Torva full helm or the scythe, so we're actually going to back out of both of those. What I think I'm going to do is try to flip the Torva plate body here, see if we can have any success with that. And if that works out, we'll definitely go in and try to get another one as well. But first, we'll just list our first one semi-aggressively, and we'll flip something else with this 372 mil. What I'm thinking we could do is start to flip more quantity-related items, but still like gear-related stuff as well. So maybe some Venator bows or something like that. This one actually looks like it'll be a decent flip. The margin's trading pretty tight, which makes me think it'll be safer, and with the higher volumes with more players online today, we should be able to trade this one faster than normal. Things are moving a lot slower than I anticipated. I'm just assuming it's competition for flips, as obviously the flipping is very good right now, but we are still having some movement. We finally got a saturated heart sold off, and some Venator bows are buying as well. Likely going to cut the margin a little bit on the manta rays and just try to adjust everything around and monitor as closely as I can. And very nice, we were able to trade two sanguinesti staves, I don't know how to say it, for about 280k each, so we're just going to jump right back into that and try to flip that again. The manta rays finally sold as well for a total of 365k in profit. That is pretty good for an active flip on the manta rays. We're also going to list back this Venator bow here, see if we can get maybe like a 400k margin or so on that. And finally, we were able to get the twisted bow off as well. Now, this second one we did not make as much profit on. It looks like we made about 1.4 mil on the second twisted bow, but still a pretty good margin all around. Definitely going to go back in and try to flip another one of these as well. This time, hopefully we'll buy it for just over 1.3 bill here. That looks about right. And we just traded another two sanguinesti staves. We're going to go in and trade another two of those, hopefully. Pretty good margin on those, 240k each. That brings us almost to a mil on... Oh, it actually does. It brings us to a mil flat on the sanguinesti staves. Feel free to roast me in the comments for calling it a different name every single time I talk about it. Boom! We just sold off both of these saturated hearts as well. That is a total of a 1.3 mil profit. Really liking the way this profit is looking, guys. Although it is a little bit slower than I expected, we're making a lot of money right now. Currently averaging about 6.8 mil here, or excuse me, total profit of 6.8 mil, averaging about 11 mil an hour here, and we just got our first Torva plate body. We're going to list this a little bit underneath the current margin here, and just try to get a quick flip out of it and walk away happy. Alright, some of these flips are getting a little bit stale, so what I'm going to do is swap around things that aren't really moving and make sure we have a solid offer on every single item here, and that way we can actually keep making some profit. Currently, right now, we're at the 7 mil mark with about 45 minutes into the session, so let's swap some things around and get some new flips going. And we've had some more success. We did sell an Armadillo crossbow, but the margin on it wasn't crazy. 200k though, which is pretty good. We also sold the Inquisitor mace as well. Now this one we didn't get a crazy margin on, just 1.2 mil profit, which is really good, but we didn't get as much as I thought we would. Anyway, we also bought a scythe, which I'm hoping to sell for around a 3 mil margin, I'm thinking. And if that sells, we'll be in a very good spot. We just passed the hour mark for the session, by the way. We're currently at an 8.9 mil total profit right now, which is pretty solid, although honestly I thought we'd be at 10 mil by this point. There we go. Our first scythe of the session has sold. I actually thought this was crashing on us, but it actually ended up working out. So we're going to dip into the dark arts here and grab just another one very, very slowly and see if we can trade one more successfully. And there we go, guys. The Temekin's Shadow has sold for a 2.2 mil profit. That is absolutely incredible, guys. Very happy to finish off that flip there. And we're currently at a 12.8 mil profit. It's crazy how fast things can turn around when you are flipping. So let's jump back into it. And I'm actually going to flip over to the Twisted Bow this time. And the Twisted Bow is currently rocking like a 4 mil margin or so. So I'm really hoping to hop in on that. But I'm not sure if it's going to be super likely. So we'll list it. We'll see if it works out. And yeah, really good session so far. An hour, 15 minutes in, currently averaging about 10 mil an hour. Very nice. This Torva plate body is making me a little bit nervous because the price has come down to a buy price of 430 mil. And if I'm not mistaken, we bought this thing for, 433 mil. So we're looking at a pretty bad unrealized loss here. I'm hoping things will swing back up and we can sell it for at least break even, but we'll have to see what happens here with the Torva plate body. Luckily, our other flips are working out pretty well for us, and we're making a decent profit right now, so I don't have to be too concerned with losing on this session. And another Twisted Bow flipped. Now, this one we only made 1.1 mil on, but still, a mil profit for a Twisted Bow is not too bad at all. Again, going to go back and flip another one of these. They have just been flipping super consistently, so I don't see any reason not to keep flipping them. And we did sell the Torva plate body. Now, that's going to be our first significant loss of today's flipping session. That is a 2 mil loss flat. Honestly, I expected to lose a little bit, so not too upset about it. But I was hoping that one was going to work out in the end. And our next Twisted Bow has flipped a 1.7 mil margin on this one, which is absolutely incredible. We'll take that into the cash stack and again go ahead and flip another one of these. Now these have actually been flipping a lot faster than they normally would, so I'm happy to just keep listing it, keep flipping it on margin, and take my cash. Right now we're an hour and 34 minutes into the flipping session. Things are going really well, 8.6 mil an hour on average. I'm gonna try to get that up to 10 mil and we'll see if we can succeed. Pulling in a fair bit of money right now, we were able to flip 2 bows of Farine for pretty much a total of about, 2.5 mil or so. Also made a fair bit of change on some of the high volume stuff as well. Currently up 50k on the air orbs and just sold off the dragon arrows for about 132k as well. We're going to be wrapping up the flipping session here, so I'm going to wait until the Twisted Bow sells, and as soon as that Twisted Bow sells, I'll pretty much cancel everything else that is not selling. We'll wrap up and we'll look at the final profits. But things are looking pretty good right now. 16.3 mil total profit at a 9.4 mil an hour rate. And we sold our last Twisted Bow of the session, but unfortunately we did end up losing a mil on the last Twisted Bow. And that's because they started to come down in price. And considering I'm about to log off for the night, I really didn't want to hold this overnight considering it's update day, so I'd rather just take a mil loss on the last one and not hold anything overnight. Anyway, at the end of the session here, we're at a 15.9 mil profit, which is an 8.4 mil profit an hour, and we went for about an hour and 54 minutes in this session. I'll post a full flipping log on screen right now. That way you can take a look at the top 10 flips that I had during the session. Oh, also, we're going to leave the Grimy Renard in here to sell overnight. I'm pretty sure it will, and that'll net us just maybe an extra 100k in profit, so that'll take us to like the 16 mil mark. Anyway, that is it for today's flipping session. Honestly, my thoughts are, I thought we'd make a little bit more, to be honest. I thought we'd be hitting the 20 mil mark in this session, and I was actually surprised to see us come in at around the 8.4 mil mark, but it is still a lot better than we did on our last session. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like and let me know in the comments if you want me to keep doing these active flipping sessions. I love recording them and they're not too hard, and honestly, the goal is to teach you guys as much about flipping everything as I possibly can. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.